and good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon, whatever it is to you while you're watching us. This is the Historical Commission, having a good time. We're here tonight, finally, for our June meeting. Today is June 20, Secretary. So we're officially here because we're working off an old agenda. And we're pleased to be with you. Okay, so everybody get their, oh, yeah, okay.
Do you want to? I don't care.
Pledge of Allegiance, folks. Stand up next to your bed, wherever you are. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There.
No,
I don't have to cheat.
Play ball.
It's 7:37.
Okay, 7:37. We sent out minutes from the April meeting, and do I have a
Motion to accept.
Yes.
Second.
2. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are done. Okay, update on 69 Ramshorn Road and other properties for sale. I've been by 69 to see what's going on. I had a rumor that I heard at the Strawberry Festival that the building was back up for sale and there was a big for sale sign. No, no, it was not right. It is still fenced off. There's still a big red X on the building. So that hasn't changed. I have let a couple of people know that we would be interested in discussing some options with them. More than interested. We'd like to participate if we can, to either find a person that would come and take the building. And we thought it was structurally sound enough. I think it could be lifted and moved. Now, that said, it's not inexpensive, but I think the owners probably would be willing to just say, if you can do it, it's yours. So somebody could get a new, an old building for the right price for the building itself. The movement, another issue. But
Rehabilitation's another issue too.
The what?
The rehabilitation or the renovation would be
Yeah.
another issue too. That's not going to be cheap.
No, but if you wanted an 1850 roundhouse, there aren't too many kicking around.
No?
And some people might want that project, so we will not lose faith, we will continue. But it's also possible that the owners will just say, we're gonna just sit on it for the year. That's their choice too. Not what we would like. And the other thing I said here was, and other properties for sale. I've been watching as for sale signs come up on properties, and I got a little concerned because there were 2 old houses in particular recently that came up for sale, and I was nervous, as we should be. One of them, the sale, it's no longer listed for sale, so I don't know what that means. Is she trying to get back in? Maybe. Like, we'll just leave it, yeah. Just stay on still, don't know. So that one, they took the for sale sign off, but that doesn't mean that house isn't in danger. That one's on Dudley Oxford Road. It's a very small house.
Okay.
And we've all seen it and gone by it, and for whatever reason, it's no longer a for sale sign. The other one is the Estabrook Farm. The sign is down. The house has been sold. And I noticed 2 dumpsters and very careful removal of things from the house, which is an excellent sign for us, because in a normal thing, if we were worried about a demo, they would just leave everything there and just say, mush it all up and throw it in the
Unless they're
dumpsters.
antiques.
So whomever bought this, I'm crossing my fingers. Looks like they're interested because the house has that important appeal. So we'll see. You know, I haven't seen the ownership title go by yet. But that was good news. Both of them came off the immediate panic mode.
Okay.
All right, any questions?
What about the Marsh Road property? Is that sold?
It is not sold. Rumor is that the house is in very poor condition.
That's Henry Marsh House?
No,
Yeah,
no.
and not much.
No.
It,
Chet Callissa's.
Calissa.
Chet Callista's house.
That's the corner of Bonneview, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that's part of the reason it hasn't moved
Well, yeah.
quickly.
It's expensive too.
Yeah. And for what's going on there, I just don't know.
Yeah.
But it is, again, another one that we're...
Karen, wasn't there a Phelps family ran a farm up there back in the 60s?
Further down the road?
Was that further down the road?
Maybe, yeah. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, but I remember,
But there was also Phelps on the corner, on the pond. Phelps lived in the, I don't know. if
Bottom
they
of the
still-
hill?
Yeah, yeah, they still live there.
she just, yeah,
Yeah,
they both passed.
right.
I don't know.
But this was another, I don't even know if it was the same family, but they were up, I remember on the hill with Marsh Road.
Well, there's 3 houses before you hit the new development. There's Marsh's house, and and then past Chet's house is another house, and those are
Yeah.
the 3.
The white one? I
The
think
white
it-
one further down, yeah,
Yeah.
with I think it has a slate roof still.
Probably.
Yeah.
So there are properties out there that we worry about. But we can only hope that some preservationist gets to them. But we do what we
See.
can, and we'll continue.
I think we should talk about the, maybe not, fire chief's suggestion about making a list. Just talk about it. I like to
have a
put some
list.
stuff on the record
We have a list
of,
of valuable old houses in town. It is not fully comprehensive, and I would never allow that guy to go off a list.
not my point.
My point.
I was riding around the other day thinking about historical significance.
Yeah.
And I drove past a house that I would never have looked at twice. It's a post-World War II cape, built in 1950. It's as run-of-the-mill as it gets,
Yeah.
except it belonged to Anthony DiDonato Sr., who has a memorial in the lobby of this room to him.
Yes.
That is as significant a house as you can get. Looking at it, you would never know.
Correct.
How many more out there?
And that's why
Arthur
I
Williams'
said
house is still out there.
You can't do it from a list. That's why we exist.
I went to the town hall, I went to the assessor's office
Hmm.
and asked them if they had a list of the properties in town. They said, no, we don't. If you want to make a list, you can make a comprehensive list by spending hundreds of hours going through the database, the assessor's database. If you want to, all the sheds are on it, all the garages are on it, all the houses are on it. I don't know about monuments, but I was sitting there thinking about that and thinking that if you really wanted to do a good job, you would probably want to hire an architectural historian. And we're now talking 6 figures, just to find out how many historically significant houses there are in Dudley.
And
Who's gonna
would be
pay
for
for it?
that one moment in time.
And who's gonna pay for it?
Right, no.
Well,
So-
raising another, in
Yeah, you
line-
had one.
Huh?
You had an issue that I saw it on an email that we wanted to bring up tonight too.
What
Yeah.
about folks,
People buying houses.
right, coming from outside of Dudley, purchasing a home, not being aware
Right.
that we have this bylaw, and then running into a problem if
Right.
they wanted to, take that.
Even Dudley people don't understand the bylaw.
Well, first of all, do the local realtors have that information so that they can tell potential clients that this house may be, may come to the commission's attention due to, whatever?
Some of them would know this because they've been here long enough. Others would probably have no clue.
So how do we educate or provide that information so that, say, a young couple comes and purchases a home
Yeah.
here in town, and it's 150, 160 years old, just saying, and they decide that, they don't want to put all the money into the repair, so they're just going to knock it down and put up something else.
Literally what we're talking about
Exactly.
with the Ramshorn one.
Right, so, but now, because being unaware, it seems, that creates a bit of a hardship for the owner, or, if they become the owner, that's when they find out. So my question would be, how do other towns have a similar problem? Have they been able to resolve it? Is there something that we can put, some information somewhere? I mean, I'm not a real estate person.
I was just gonna say that, first of all, you don't have to be a realtor from Dudley to sell a house in Dudley. You could be a realtor from Boston.
Right,
And they would never know.
But how do we disseminate this information so
That brings me to my question. Is there any, and I don't remember, I bought my house 39 years ago. Is there any interaction with the town when a property is sold? In general?
It doesn't.
If you're
I don't
buying-
think you
if you're
have to
buying a-
have interaction with the
If you're
town.
buying a unit in that new senior living development,
Yeah.
is there any interaction with
No.
any town? No. So you
The
can't
only
do,
interaction would be taxes and stuff like that.
property tax.
And it's very difficult because there's no way for us to keep up with who are the realtors that are involved.
Right.
How do we make them aware of this?
Did-
It just, and on this last one, somebody sent me an email and said, well, they didn't know. I said, exactly, they didn't know. I said, but if you're going to be in the business, if you're going to be investing, and these people were really investing, this wasn't, we want to live in this house or any of that stuff. You have to do diligence.
Is there something, a lot of people, if they're looking at property in the town, if they have children or whatever, they might look at the town website to see, what kind of stuff do you have in town? Is that a place that we can put in that,
Well,
there's that information?
we could have a warning.
Yeah, buyer beware.
Warning. If you're considering a building that could be significant. Here again, the problem is the definition. So the building you're talking about, 1950 Zero Cape, now qualifies actually as a historic structure. And
And you
if
do-
it has involvement with a person, then even more so.
Yeah.
And
Well, that would be the reason, right? The involvement with the person?
Yeah,
yes, but you can't explain all of those things. The details get
and
pretty
you-
intense.
you can't look at all the houses out here, because there are some fairly new houses that are probably historically significant because of something like a person who lived in it.
Right, and there's no way to
You-
concoct the list and hand it out and say, because it would be only good for the day that it went out.
Mhm.
And after that, it's a piece of history.
Yeah, it'd have to be
So
continually
that's why we
updated.
sit here, is to say, here's the criteria, how does this or doesn't this not fit the criteria?
Okay.
Warning, however, to realtors is a good idea, to say, please be advised, if you don't know, that if you've got any possible significance to it, and then they're gonna say, well, what's that gonna be, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you have to give a list of what
Right.
makes a building
They
significant.
can go to the bylaw and read it.
Can it go backwards? And this is gonna sound like a weird question, but I can picture us, as the Dudley Historical Commission, putting a warning on the town website, saying that historically significant buildings defined as, big list, are subject to a 1-year demolition moratorium. And then I can hear certain people in this town coming back and saying, that's anti-business. You're interfering with our sales.
It
You're
is.
interfering with our property rights, blah, blah, blah.
Well,
Right.
then we would be.
I know we are.
It would be too
We are anyway.
too difficult for them to even comprehend what we're trying to say.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm thinking 69 Ramshorn Road, we're interfering with their property rights after the fact. I mean, you could do it before the fact, you could do it after the fact. You're still interfering with their property rights.
But the
But
town-
legally, we have the right to do
That's
that.
right. The town agreed to do that.
Right. But, well, you went out to the site, building inspector, fire chief. There's a lot of people in this town who would resent us
They-
putting a moratorium on their property
Yeah.
because it's got historical significance. Who gives a damn?
The town-
Pardon me.
The town,
Well, what I'm saying, I know our position.
right.
I'm just thinking about theirs.
Oh, no, they don't want to be disturbed in their business, whatever it is, don't.
Or
don't
they
bug
don't
me.
want
I
to,
just-
they want to be
Here's the
prevented.
money,
We don't want to discourage growth of the town either.
Well, this
Right.
isn't,
You know, so
this
that-
isn't growth. This, well, it could be.
It could be.
Could be,
discouraging
because
growth.
there's another possibility that, well, does a historically significant, quote, piece of property, unquote, have to be a building?
No.
What about the lot next to the First Congregational Church
Yeah.
that used to be the Pagan Indian Village or whatever it was?
But if somebody owns it and wants to build on it, there's no stopping that.
Yes, there
If
is.
it is a building on it and they want to tear it down and it meets our criteria, then there is stopping of it, at least for a year.
I disagree with you in one respect. If there's a piece of historically significant property in this town, then development of that property can be stopped. We can't stop it.
Who's going to stop it?
Massachusetts Historical Commission
Oh,
can.
okay. If it's deemed by them a specific property,
Yeah,
yeah. but
it
we
can be
don't
done.
have
I
a-
mean, it's just not,
We
we
don't
wouldn't,
have a
I wouldn't do it
similar
anyway,
thing
but,
to the demo thing for
No.
new builds. No. All right.
but we
Don't
could,
get,
I don't
don't
know
get us
about,
in a bigger twist than we are.
what if, well, whatever, I'm just not gonna go away.
But I understand, people would say, where is the list? Well, there isn't, there can't be a list, because we don't even know about some of these properties until it comes before us. And there's no reason for us to go and look at it, because when the list was done, we have some inventories, and that would be what the list would be. It's only for that moment, things change.
I would also like to point out for the record, for certain people in this town who have brought it up, that the Dudley Historical Commission is a completely unpaid, volunteer organization with a very tiny budget. We don't have 6 figures to create a list, even if we wanted to.
Right.
Fire chief,
Some people from out of town
go ahead.
can say anything they want,
Yeah, well,
but the town pretty much speaks for itself for the law.
especially now with the overrides not passing.
Oh, God. Okay, another problem. Let's not go down that one.
All right,
Let's do reorg. Let's do it. All right. We have positions: chair, vice chair, secretary. Is that it? Sounds enough to me, right? Okay. We're open for business. Nominations for chair.
I was gonna do it backwards. I'm willing to stay as secretary.
All right. Nominations for secretary.
Hey,
Self-nominating.
I
Right.
second the nomination for David Prue as secretary.
Other nominations for secretary? No, then we will close the nominations for secretary. All in favor of Mr. Prue continuing as secretary, say aye.
Aye.
And
I'm
we're done.
abstaining.
Good.
Chair.
Chair. Opening nominations.
I nominate Ed Besnett for chair.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
Do we have other nominations for the chair?
I nominate Butch Meyer with a 1-year delay.
With a what?
1-year delay, just like a demolition.
Demolish the
Let's
first
do
and
this
get
way.
it.
I will accept the chairmanship if Butch will accept moving into it in 1 year after we have a chance to share information on how it works. All right? So, that said, close the nominations for chair. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And vice chair. We will open the nominations. The vice chair, we have to have vice chair.
I'll stay as vice chair.
There we go. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other nominations? Hearing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good. And we're done.
Congratulations.
We've officially reorged. It took us almost a year.
But then it's,
It was on every agenda.
Hmm.
And I kept saying, I gotta get this thing done. Okay, we're good. Centennial Committee, I have not heard from them recently, so I'm not gonna go down that route. Other than to say, the town's going to be so strapped for money. I don't know how we're going to manage to move some of that along, at least through the town budget. So we may have to put our thinking caps on for how we can do this externally.
the magic word,
Yep,
Mauser.
yep. So that's that one. Future events for the town. We just had the Strawberry Festival. It was a gorgeous day.
Oh, you lucked out with the weather.
It was.
Oh,
Did
We
you do
didn't
good?
get the turnout
Yeah, we did okay.
that we would have liked, though.
Yeah, it was down again this year.
Yeah, and I think, you know what, it's just people, back in the day, it was the thing, and you wanted it to be repeated because it had nostalgic value.
it's a
I'm not sure
generational
you get
thing.
that anymore.
It's a generational thing.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and I think
It's like
for all our events, we need to kind of have to look at them and say, how do you refresh them?
We're working on it.
Yeah, because there's still enough people there. And there was a wide range of ages,
Oh, yes.
very wide.
They don't get
We had
wider.
a lot of new people. I don't think it ever been to it.
Right.
So that was good. So it's not like it's withering on the vine, it's just that it needs to be,
We're trying to manage the lines, the French fry line and the shortcake line tickets and so forth.
Yeah.
So we've done some advanced selling of tickets to help
Yeah.
shorten that line. We came up with moving the booth this year and big signs saying, if you have a ticket this way, if you have a ticket, don't have a ticket that way, 'cause but it's still, I looked out about 4:30 or so, and the line was still all the way
Yeah.
down to the.
and I
Yeah.
don't have a problem with the line.
Well, if you have small children with you,
Yeah,
you might
I-
have a problem.
I do, my wife is in charge of having tickets, she's in charge of getting them. So I don't have a problem with the line.
I will say that I got in the line at 4 o'clock,
Did it
and
move?
I had my strawberry shortcakes before 4:30.
Yeah, we
It was
we
moving
set
fine.
a couple extra stations, so we
Yeah.
had 6 stations, and, we
It
just
cut
tried
that
to.
line down pretty fast, though.
It
was-
did. Oh,
compared to the
But
old
you gotta
days.
have, but here's the thing, in order to have 6 stations, you have to have 12 volunteers.
Yes,
And
yes.
finding volunteers is very, very difficult. See, that's my job. Very difficult. But we did,
You did fine.
folks came out, they helped.
Mm.
And
It was really a community affair.
Yeah, we lost a lot of volunteers over the years, because I could tell you, I could list them and say, oh yeah, not here, not here, not here. not
living at
Sadly
Overlook,
passed on. Or,
living at Waldron Cemetery.
here." Yeah, right.
But I'll tell
But
you,
there's another generation coming up, and the students that volunteered from Webster and from Bartlett and Shepherd Hill, they were wonderful, great
Oh, good.
kids,
Good.
upstanding. We had Nichols, their freshman orientation crew,
Ooh,
the folks that come in and do the orientation with the new students. There were, I think, 15 kids, young adults, excuse
yeah,
me.
right.
They
right.
came, they were
Kids do.
wonderful, and they helped us
Excellent.
last year as well in terms of setting up, because you had to set up the lawn, and last year they came in and we were still hulling berries at 5 o'clock, and we started at 8. So they came in and they helped us finish that up, but this year we finished a little earlier, but they came and helped
It's
us
tough
move
because you have that
stuff.
very small window to keep it fresh and.
Yep, well, whipped cream's
You can't
made,
do it 2 weeks in advance.
oh no, whipped cream's made Thursday morning.
Yeah,
And the berries are hulled Wednesday,
yeah.
and then cut, chopped, sugared, and.
So how many strawberry shortcakes were served, do you know?
Offhand, I'd have to tell, I could say that we chopped 1,500 pounds of strawberries, and 200, and I whipped, well, not me personally, I mean,
Mhm.
others helped me, but we whipped 240 quarts of heavy cream. And we did have leftovers, because like you said, the turnout hasn't been as it was
Yeah.
in the past. But yeah,
And-
still people came out. I saw lots of kids and families, and
Mm-hmm.
we had a pony for the kids. The fire department couldn't provide the smokehouse this
Yeah.
year because they didn't. They
And is that
couldn't
usually
afford
a
the
big draw?
manpower. I'm sorry.
Is that usually a big draw?
The kids love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've had the smokehouse for years,
Yeah.
and the chief came to us Thursday morning and said, "Sorry, I just don't have just can't do it."
Yeah.
And the police, the same thing. We usually have a cruiser and some officers to, whatever. It's just, get the community acquainted with our
Mhm.
equipment, the fire truck, but we were told, they came over personally to apologize, but said they couldn't
Yeah.
afford to.
2 suggestions, just one off the top of my head, one of them, whatever. In lieu of fire department and police, why don't you talk to the Webster branch of the National Guard to see if they can bring a couple little vehicles out just as a kid draw. And
Okay.
2, as far as I can tell, the only way you can speed up your French fry line is to put another fry later out.
No, that's not our problem.
Well,
That's not our problem.
Oh. I mean, it takes a certain amount of time to cook.
Yeah, but you have to have the gas that gets, so you have a big grill inside the shack,
Right.
and
That's
then
taken.
that's taken off.
The line is.
The line to the fryers, and what
line.
it is that I don't know the technical stuff, because that's not my,
Not enough volume.
yes, thank you, yes. And so what we need to do, which is extremely costly, and we're a nonprofit, so what we need to do is, the shack has to be repiped, and in doing so, it will increase the BTUs and
Okay.
resolve, hopefully,
Interesting, yeah.
our problem. But getting another fryer later will only make it worse.
Yeah.
So,
it'll-
and we try to address it, but we got a quote of $2,000, and that's just not something that we have in our
I agree with
coffers.
you.
Yeah.
Not if we're gonna put on a festival,
Yeah.
so we couldn't do it this year. But we're working on it.
Yeah. Okay.
So the next event's coming up for the
September
community
30.
is the summer concerts.
Oh, the summer concert.
Right,
Okay.
Massachusetts Cultural and Dudley Cultural Council has sponsored the music concerts that the Grange holds. The next one coming up is July 15th, and it's the Gray Whisker Pickers.
Oh,
And then the
good.
one after that is Gracie Day and the Phantom Limbs.
When is that? Do you
And
know?
that is August 12th. And there are rain dates that are,
Mhm.
I didn't bring that information with me, but they're the following Saturday for each. And we're looking into maybe getting a food truck to go to, be out there. They start at both start at 6 o'clock. And then, as you said, Ed, September 30th, we're having the Apple Festival.
Yeah.
Good time to bring it up. We got our Malsa grant for tradesmen on the common. The check has been given to the treasurer, and it's in the account, and I've talked to my tradesman, and it's ready to go.
Good.
September 30th, we will have the Apple Festival.
Is the tavern doing
Yeah, we have a fairly
Tradesmen.
good response on the
And-
crafters.
Craft fair.
We're
Yeah, they got over,
looking forward to it.
they got a bunch, right? Deb said something about,
Yeah.
yeah.
And she's been out in different areas now, picking people up, and they said, oh, yeah, that sounds great.
Are they charging the same
Mhm.
as last year?
Yeah, whatever it was,
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Yeah.
because I usually wait until
I
you
think
guys
we're,
get full, and then I start recruiting,
Yeah.
soliciting.
yeah, I don't think we're gonna do tents and tables this year. Is that what they said?
She's still agreed to 3 tents or something so far, but we tried to get out of tents completely. Most of the crafters have access now to tents. Back in the day, people just didn't have a tent kicking around. A lot of them now have them in their yards, for other events at home.
Yeah.
So they go, oh yeah, I have a tent like that. So, whatever. I'm just happy that somebody's taking care of it. I don't have to do it. All right. Preservation projects, the village cemetery update. Really don't have an update. We did have an issue with the village cemetery wall. A few pieces of it were
Looks like it's
knocked,
coming down.
onto the sidewalk. It was a truck that did it. But they fixed it.
They
So,
did?
yeah,
Good.
it's all back to whatever. But we do need to work on the fencing issue. And I've been so preoccupied with health the last month, I don't know if this is.
I've got a
June.
wedding Saturday.
I'm still in May.
After that,
somewhere.
I'm
But we'll
start
just-
thinking about it. Yeah, I got my son's wedding Saturday. After that, I'll
Yeah.
start thinking
Well,
about it.
congratulations.
I just got a call today too. My brother's getting married Monday.
He's what?
My brother's getting married Monday
Oh.
in Florida. Ain't going down for that, but nonetheless.
You don't want to be in Florida right now, do you?
I don't know, but I mean,
Yeah.
I would go if it weren't for the fact that my son's getting married up here Saturday. Has no time to get from here to there.
No. All right.
But,
Good
you know,
planning in your
On
family.
the,
After that,
on the village cemetery,
Yeah.
what is the plan? Is there a plan?
Well, we had discussed putting in some foliage, I'll call it.
Plantings.
When the trees were ripped out and it looked so barren, we were like,
Right, right.
because that was a certain look, very unusual, because cemeteries of that era didn't have trees, really. When you go by them, they have stone markers. And it was unsightly. I mean, it would aggravate me every time I drove
Yeah,
it.
it was a shock to see them gone.
Yeah. So the hope was we would get a few plantings around, especially near the wall, so that you just didn't see a wall and a few stones behind it, you know. You'd have something,
To soften it,
pardon?
Yeah.
to soften it.
Yeah, and to give some color and to whatever. I was working, well, we were working with the town, what is he called now? Superintendent, highway superintendent probably. And he had a guy, but the guy then got ill, so we never got around to planting and agreeing on these things. And he has not gotten back to me with a new guy
Mhm.
or a gal. We had a gal that gave us the ideas of what to plant, and he was looking to this guy to come in and say, yeah, we'll go in here, we'll go in there. So it is, it hasn't moved forward, and I'm not happy with that, but I haven't been around for the last month to
Who
ride
pays for
for
that? Is that, who pays for that, for the plantings?
We have some money. The town coughed up some money after the tree debacle.
Yeah.
So there, we could put a few important pieces in. And it's not outrageously expensive, you know, I
No.
mean,
If you know what to
yeah,
purchase, yeah.
yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Stevens Mill, I haven't talked to them specifically recently. I noticed the fencing is changing, the signs are different, no trespassing has gone up. This is about the time of the year I was gonna say the vultures, it's not the vultures, it's the falcons will have their little offspring and leave the site. And
Right.
as soon as that happens, then they can start working on the roof. But that was all held up a little bit by that. But there are other things that they're doing, and it's just a matter of staging things. It's gonna go. It's gonna be great. It's just, we gotta keep our eyes on it. Other business not known? Not hearing any. Member concerns? Not hearing any. Guest concerns, comments? Ah, no one in the peanut gallery. I hate that. There you go, someone in the peanut gallery. Next scheduled meeting.
September 12th, 6:30, room 315.
So that's a Tuesday, right?
Yes, it's our normal Tuesday.
That's,
There's one after that in November, and that's it.
As we say that, let's talk about this date, this Tuesday issue. It's a problem for you. You've got
it's good, yeah,
It's a
second
Grange
Tuesday
meeting.
of the month is Grange, yeah.
second.
It's the second,
Yeah,
that's the second Tuesday.
right
That's our
after
meeting,
we
yeah.
do. Do we want to change our week? We could go the third Tuesday.
Second.
Does it have to be a Tuesday?
No, it can be a Wednesday or a Thursday.
I don't want to create a.
Well, no, but if we can help you, I mean, you know, we'd like to have you here.
Right.
It's,
Well, yeah, that's the only reason why
and
I
part of-
missed meeting was
Yeah,
because.
part of getting new
especially-
people in is
yeah.
that they have other interests, so it's just a question
Plus,
of
that
melding.
September meeting's kind of important because right after that's the Apple Festival.
Yeah,
Do you want to switch it?
Maybe it's the first Tuesday of the month,
I don't care.
if it's gotta be a Tuesday. You don't care on, I mean,
Does the town care?
it's just that second Tuesday is the
So the
issue.
Tuesday's a hardship for me. but-
Does the town care? Ed?
Gonna weigh in on this?
Let me see, I believe,
First Tuesdays of the month? Anybody?
I don't think so.
Might be wide open then. All right.
Would we have a problem with recording?
I didn't bring out a planner, I guess it doesn't matter.
Yep. Good. All right. You want to try
The
it?
last Tuesday of the month is library's normal.
Right.
meeting, so-
And they were off. That's why we were screwed up this week. But we could go
So
to,
what's the first Tuesday in September?
September 5th.
That would be the 5th,
Right after-
September 5th.
September
Day after
5th.
Labor Day, right?
oh, my birthday.
Is it really?
The 5th?
I will be 80 that day.
Oh, we'll
It
have
is
to
a
have
big
cake.
birthday.
We could have a big cake.
Party.
My daughter, not my daughter, my wife,
Whoa!
her birthday's the 4th.
Oh, well, we'll have a big party.
Two birthdays.
So
It's my, yeah, my wife's the 8th.
I'm making a
And she's
motion to
gonna-
Oh,
move.
September?
80 also. We were in the hospital together, 3
Yeah.
days apart.
Get out, were you serious?
Hubbard, when it was a house.
I remember Hubbard
Yeah,
Memorial, Webster Memorial.
yeah. And then we both lived on Schuylkill Down. So we went to all the graves together. Yep.
I'm making a motion to change our meeting day to the first Tuesday of the month.
Have a second, okay? Discussion, hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
First Tuesday of the month, and that's gonna be September what?
5th,
And why is that an important day?
because it's your birthday.
There you go.
The first Tuesday of the month is when Walgreens has their senior discount day.
And the meeting will interfere with that somehow?
Are we going?
I go. I don't know if anybody else, but I can go in the morning.
I think for all seniors here.
Good year.
Is it
All right, I'm entertaining a
What?
motion.
6:15, 6:30?
6:30
6:30.
in room 315 that's our normal, that is going to be our normal. And are we going to stay with every other month for a while?
We'll see.
All right.
We'll worry about that in September. If we don't have one before then, we could get a demo. You never know.
Closed meeting at
All right.
8:20.
Entertaining a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
All in
Second,
favor? Aye.
8:20 PM.
Gone.